Hey Enkyoji Network, Reverend Cederman here. It's good to hear and see all of you. Welcome. This is the first video to our new Enkyoji blog, in which we're going to do some podcasts and some information that's just for you, for Enkyoji, in building and supporting your mission. So first, before we go on any further, I would like to say thank you very much. Thank you for all of your support, your encouragement, your efforts in promoting and teaching the Lotus Sutra to people. It's quite phenomenal the way that Enkyoji Networks has grown. We're growing and growing every single day because of your hard work, your learning, your practicing, and also your participation, in which without it we can't get the Lotus Sutra and the teachings of Buddha to all those suffering people in the world. Because ultimately, as we know in our own lives, Buddhism can change us. That it can change our environment, it can change our home life, it can change our family life, it can make everything become part of our enlightened practice and teaching. And so therefore I want to thank all of the people who are on the same mission as we have, and basically understand and support the mission of the Enkyoji Temple. So thank you so much for your hard work. Keep going, and I really look forward to sharing a bunch of teachings with all of you, trying to get information to you in order to support your missions. Let's keep growing. Enkyoji Network has now expanded outside of the US. We're in Canada, we're in even Nepal, the homeland of the Buddha. So because of your efforts, because of your teamwork, because of your support, and pure encouragement and support of Enkyoji Network, we're really having it happen. And the Buddha's teachings is manifesting all over the world, changing people's lives. So therefore, today I'd like to just share with you, because as we talk about mission, what does mission mean? Now, Enkyoji Temple, one of the differences is that one of the things that we focus on specifically is mission. And when we say mission, we're not saying about going off somewhere to spread the teachings of Buddhism. What we mean is that we spread the teachings of Buddhism with our own life, in our communities, with the people we love, with the people that we come into contact with. And ultimately, that is how the Pure Land is created. So therefore, we need to, as Nichiren Shonin said in Shohoji Sosho, without learning and practicing, there is no Buddhism. Now actually, when all of us go out to try to express Buddhism, even today I was asked by somebody, I was walking on the street, they said, "Are you a monk?" And I said, "No, I'm not a monk, I'm a priest, but foremost, I'm a Buddhist." And his question was a very simple sounding question: what is Buddhism? Now I want all of you to think about that. If someone comes up to you and that's the most general question, what is Buddhism? How do we explain it? Well, it's very interesting, because Buddhism teaches and transmits teach quite different. And our practice means walking the walk. We even consider our practice as a path, a metaphor for a path. So therefore today, one of the interesting things that I was researching, and I just gave a lecture today about the Eightfold Path in our learning series in Buddhism. But actually, which teaching, as many people know, the Eightfold Path, the middle way, the fourth of the Noble Truth, was the Buddha's first teaching. Did he try to teach, or did he attempt to teach before? And the answer is yes, because we know that the teaching of the middle way and the Eightfold Path was taught to the 5 ascetics that had originally, when Gautama Buddha was studying and practicing the ascetic practices before he became the enlightened Buddha, he was practicing the ways of the Vedic traditions, the yogic traditions. And so therefore, those ascetics, when the Buddha understood the middle way and accepted the rice from the maiden, they thought he had abandoned the practice, that he had given up the search. But as soon as the Buddha attained enlightenment, it was interesting. What did he do? He sat there, contemplated a while, saying, I don't know if people are going to get this. But then ultimately he had to get up. He had to go forth. He had to find those disciples and teach them. And actually, it's interesting that a teaching or an event for teaching happened before. And I want all of you to think on how this relates to your own life, to your own practice, to your own mission. And so actually the first teaching or the first attempt of the Buddha didn't pan out the same way as it did with the 5 ascetics. So when the Buddha attained enlightenment, basically what he did is he got up and he left Gaya, the place of enlightenment, for Benares, which is where the other disciples was, which was about 150 miles, so quite a long way. And on the way from Gaya, right out of the area, the Buddha was met by Upaka. Now, Upaka was an ascetic. Now, I don't know if they actually knew each other before, but he was, as you would imagine, the typical ascetic, which in Buddhism means he was a way of extreme, in the sense that he pierced his tongue, probably didn't take a bath, covered himself with the ash of funeral pyres, etc. And he was struck, first of all, and foremost, which we see by looking at the Buddha, he knew something was different. And when he went up to the Buddha, the first thing he said to the Buddha, he inquired, he said, "Who is your teacher?" Because actually, in Vedic traditions, that is the idea of the guru, that you are transmitted your teaching, your practice through your guru. And that actually ultimate enlightenment can only be done with and through your guru. And the other question was, whose teaching do you profess? Now, the Buddha, and when these questions were presented to him, he answered, "I have no teacher. One like me does not exist in all the world. For I am the peerless teacher, the Arahat. I alone am supremely enlightened, quenching all defilements. Nibbana or Nirvana's calm have I attained. I go to the city of Benares to set in motion the wheel of the Dharma. In a world where blindness reigns, I shall beat the deathless drum." Now when the Buddha said that, the ascetic basically says to him, Upaka says to him, "Friend, you then claim you are a universal victor," said Upaka. The Buddha replied, "Those who have attained the cessation of defilements, they are indeed victors like me. All evil have I vanquished. Hence, I am a victor." And, interestingly enough, Upaka's reaction is that he simply shakes his head and sarcastically says, "It may be so, friend," and then took a bypath. He went a different way, as if he didn't want to walk with the Buddha. It's interesting. And then the Buddha, of course, in his next meeting was with the five ascetics, which saw him in the distance and said to themselves, "Okay, let's not talk to Gautama, because actually he gave up the path. But as soon as he came, they saw something different with him in the distance." So therefore, it's very important that Buddhism manifests in our life, that when people meet us, that we practice the teachings. And then ultimately, when you practice the enlightened teachings, when you chant the Daimoku Namamyo Horenge Kyo, this manifests in your life and people see it. The important thing is that we need to also understand the responsibility to study the teachings. And when we study the teachings, then we can impart the teachings. When we impart the teachings, we fulfill our role as a bodhisattva. We fulfill our mission. And the mission, the faith, the practice is the ultimate enlightenment, the ultimate path of Buddhism. And so therefore, the idea of karma, things we want to change in our life. I say, there's not a karma thermometer. I can't see what you did in the past. I can't see what you'll do in the present. However, I can see the state of mind you are in now. And the majority of this world, as the Buddha says, is full of people who are saddened, people who are blind. He said simply, blindness reigns. And it's very interesting that he said, "I shall beat the deathless drum." Now, it's very important for us to understand what that means in our daily life. So therefore, every moment that you're doing, every moment that you're living, every moment that you're walking forward on the path, you need to understand and believe what is your mission and be very clear on that. That is one of the aspects of enlightenment. The first of the Eightfold Path, awareness, knowing why we're doing this, knowing why we practice Buddhism, and also being able to see the blindness of attachments, the blindness of ignorance, greed, hatred, and ignorance, the three poisons that defile our minds, defile this world. So therefore, please, all of you, as you continue to study and practice, understand how important you are. You are to this world. Nobody else can change this world but you, through your life, through your learning, through your practice. So therefore, as Nichiren Shonin said, without learning and practicing, there is no Buddhism. We in the Enkyoji lineage, we do by example. We don't do by simply calling ourselves Buddhists. We show it in our lives. We show it in our practice. We show it in our answers. We show it in our face. So therefore, I'm going to leave you guys with that. Once again, thank you so much for all of the efforts that you do and how you support Enkyoji Network. We always can use support. We can always use help. Please understand the importance of your mission. And I look forward to talking to you again. The idea with these podcasts about doing this at least once a week, as well as I will try to get some other videos. Please share some of your videos as well. Send them to me at seattlebuddhist@hotmail.com. Let's build this network together. Let us grow, and let us most of all heal the blindness of the world by spreading the Dharma. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a great week.